Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. This is a different sort of video we're doing today. Usually I, film the gameplay and then record voice over it, but today I thought we may as well just talk while I play the game. And as you can see by what I've titled the video, I imagine it's something like, why is it more fun to grind in public sessions, or why you should grind in public sessions. But essentially in today's video, I'm just going to be talking about why I personally choose to grind in public sessions instead of an invite only. Before anyone says this is just my opinion, there is no right or wrong thing, and I'm not trying to be like, yeah, grinding in public sessions is the best way to do it, because ultimately it just comes down to your preference, and my preference is I prefer to grind in a public session, and that's just what I'm going to go over in today's video. So firstly, my credentials, if you will. That went in. Yes. Whoa, what the I'm going to assume there's a modder in the session. This isn't helping. I'm trying to talk about why I like grinding in public sessions, and then a modder comes along. This is very much a PC only issue, but to be honest, it's getting better. Like, the anti-cheat's actually working somewhat. But anyways, my credentials. I've been playing GTA since 2016, and I've spent most of that time grinding. I've made over 1 billion legit, which to some grinders isn't a lot. And obviously, if you have a modded account or whatnot, you're like, well, it's only 1 billion, but it's still a lot of money, especially when you consider that's all legit made money. Although I don't grind as much these days, I do know a thing or two about grinding. And obviously these days you have the choice to grind in an invite only session, so you're probably thinking, well, why wouldn't I just do that? And trust me, I remember testing my NAT type when I used to grind on Xbox, so I'd get sessions by myself. Now look, obviously if you want to stay safe, if you don't want to risk coming across, griefers, hackers, whatever, grind in an invite only session, right? That's going to be the safest thing to do. Hello, my friend. He's just chilling. Because obviously no one likes getting their cargo griefed, and if you're someone who's perhaps not too familiar, if you're not too familiar with the PvP, then obviously you don't want to get attacked. But the main thing for me is I find grinding in an invite only just to be a bit boring. He's desperately trying. And this is mainly due to the fact I just like getting into PvP scenarios and actually having a bit of variety and fun to the game. Because there's only so much variety you can really get in an invite only. And I mean, that's next to none. It's essentially only what the NPCs actually provide you. Oh, shit. Speaking of which, as this guy has beautifully demonstrated for me, most of the variety in the game comes from other players. Okay. And I'm dead. But again, if you want to have your cargo safe and you don't want to risk getting it blown up, obviously, do it in an invite only. Come on. There he is. He tried. But the main thing for me is playing in invite only, the only variety you get, as I've said, is the NPCs. And at that point, you may as well be playing story mode. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't help but find it a bit boring. I think by actually playing with other players and having the risk of getting your cargo blown up, it actually adds a bit of variety to the game and just keeps it fresh and interesting. Because let's be real, grinding is not fun. Like, I've done it enough to know it's not fun. Maybe when you're playing the missions for the first time, because obviously it's all new and fresh, yeah, that can be a bit fun. But when you're trying to grind hundreds of millions and you're doing the same mission over and over again, it just becomes a bit boring. Sorry if I end up yapping a bit, by the way, or if I have already. This is why I usually make a script and record my lines, whereas today I'm literally just winging it. Here we go, and that's the last one. I want to go deal with that other guy. But essentially, yeah, I like the variety it brings. The risk of having other people in the session that could mess you up. It just keeps it more fresh, it makes every time you're grinding, whether that be selling or actually just doing like a prep mission or getting supplies or whatever it is you're doing, it keeps it fresh. Come here. Ha 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 ha. And again, this is just because I like PvP, so when there's a risk and, someone's trying to get my cargo or get my heist prep and I have to fight them, I find that fun, but I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. Oh my god, we're actually going crazy right now. And if you are someone who enjoys just making money, then yeah, stick to invite only. The most obvious thing as well when it comes to public sessions is you get the high demand bonus. I'm pretty sure everyone knows this, but for those who aren't aware, essentially for every person in the lobby, you get like a 2% bonus. And I think it goes up to 20%, so you can actually end up making a lot more off your sales just by selling them in a populated lobby. But then obviously when selling in a populated lobby, you run the risk of coming across griefers. Again, it just goes back to keeping it fresh. There's a high risk, but there's also a high reward for it. So when you do decide to sell in a public lobby, you're obviously taking that gamble, and it can go either way. You could just end up having your cargo blown up and then lose everything, but then you could also make like, oh dear. Then you could also end up making like 20% more. So then if you do end up actually selling, it just feels a lot better. I feel like I've been waffling a bit, so let me kind of sum it up real quick. If you're someone who's perhaps not familiar with the PvP mechanics or just not too good at PvP and combat in GTA, then obviously I can see why you'd want to stick to an invite-only session. Or if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of money and you just want to stay safe and make your money, then again, invite-only session is your best bet. Just because obviously then you don't run the risk of having your cargo blown up, coming across a griefer or a modder if you're on PC like myself. But if you are someone who perhaps already has a good amount of money and wants to try keep the game fresh and entertaining, entertaining, then I would recommend trying to grind in a public session. Because obviously, no matter whether you're doing a heist, preps, cargo, whatever, you run the risk of getting blown up or people contesting what you're doing. But then I find this to lead to situations where you're having to fight off and defend whatever it is you're doing, which can actually end up being a load of fun. And then if you do end up selling your stuff or doing whatever it is you're doing, it just feels a bit more earned. And then of course, if you have the high demand bonus as well, you're going to make more money, which is a bonus if you're just strictly focused on making the money. But it is really these times where you're trying to grind and, you know, sell your stuff or whatever, and people try to fight you, that it actually leads to a lot of fun moments. So if I had to conclude it, the way I see it, if you're desperate for money or you're not particularly good at PvP, then I recommend going into an invite-only session because it's just a safe and secure way. Personally, I don't do this because I find invite-only sessions boring and I may as well be playing single player. And I'm also someone who likes a bit of a challenge and a bit of a fight. So if you are someone who's finding grinding boring, which let's face it, it is, and you want to try keep it fresh, then I recommend trying it in a public session. Don't get me wrong, there are going to be the times where you get blown up and it's going to absolutely fucking suck. But what doesn't kill us makes us stronger, and it's only going to make you a better player in terms of the PvP and just awareness and knowing how to defend your stuff. And also for every time that happens, there's also going to be the times where you are able to defend your stuff and it's just a lot more rewarding. So yeah, that's going to conclude the video here. I know this is different to my usual video, but I just kind of had this on my mind, so I thought I'd just sit down, play the game and talk about it. I'm not sure how much sense I made because obviously I've never done this sort of video before, but if you did enjoy this video, then please drop a like. Again, this all just comes down to personal preference. I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong, or, you know, the other way around. It is literally just what you prefer. But I thought I'd just go over my reasons on why I grind in public sessions. Anyways, guys, if you have any video ideas, anything you want me to talk about, or just anything in general, please comment it down below. As well, comment whether you like to grind in public sessions or not. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.